Good evening and welcome to our Friday, March 17, 2017 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news this evening, another community is set to benefit from government's electrification and safety program. Guyana hires petroleum consultants, and the Central Housing and Planning Authority, CHNPA, is moving to address squatting in Great Diamond. These and other stories when the news returns. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. During 2016, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure has installed 311 highway lights on the Quarantine Highway in Sophia, Ogo, Mocha, and Diamond Housing Scheme access roads. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu reveals that the WIM community in Berbice will soon benefit.
For the very first time in the history of WIM, you would have street lights. Some, I don't know if it will be all throughout the village, but at least in the main street, you should be able to have street lights there to allow people to walk in and out in the evening without being fearful that somebody will grab them or mug them or something.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu notes that Quarantine residents had struggled for years without street lights and were afraid to travel at nights on some roads.
For the very first time in the history of Quarantine, we have lights now on the number 19 road, that lonely stretch. People call it the Death Highway. We have infrastructural works taking place in other places simultaneously.
Works continue on the installation of 77 highway lights on the number 19 public road between number 50 to 55 villages, Quarantine. Budget 2017 caters for $607.1 million for the continuation of road safety measures, including the installation of streetlights in several communities. The Ministry of Natural Resources has taken on a team of petroleum consultants to guide the development of Guyana's emerging oil and gas industry. Tiffany Rodias has the details.
Minister of State Joseph Harmon says the team of consultants will support and guide the government in the review and implementation of the field development plan for the Liza discovery by ExxonMobil.
The field development plan is a blueprint for maximizing the recovery of the petroleum resources whilst ensuring sustainable development and responsible management. The team of consultants will function as a project management unit within the Ministry of Natural Resources.
The Ministry of Natural Resources has enlisted the assistance of several international agencies and countries to help in the development of the oil and gas industry. Last week, the government appointed an advisor to the President on petroleum. The advisor, Dr. Jan Mangal, is of Guyanese descent and has a wealth of experience in the marine and oil and gas industries, Minister Harmon notes.
Dr. Mangal, in addition to assisting with the development of Guyana's hydrocarbon regulatory framework, will advise the government on matters related to the operations of ExxonMobil and its partners in Guyana as they pursue development of the Liza discovery.
The oil that was discovered in the Liza field in the Stabroek Block offshore Guyana is said to be equivalent to between 0.8 to 1.4 billion barrels of oil. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Exxon have been sharing its development plan for the Liza field as part of the ministry's national outreach program to provide information on Guyana's progress in the new sector. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rodias.
The Central Housing and Planning Authority, CHNPA, is examining the regularization of portions of land at Great Diamond, East Bank Demerara, occupied by squatters. Gabriela Patram tells us more.
Minister within the Ministry of Communities, Valerie Adams Patterson, and team of the CHNPA officials visited the area today to address ongoing squatters' issues with the residents.
When I spoke with you guys, my initial reaction was to relocate. Now that I come here and I see the quality of the homes, then I realize that's a difficult task.
Very difficult.
We have to go back to the drawing board. I have the CEO here and myself. We see what we see here. I can say right off, it's not easy to relocate.
Correct.
Right? So it might be possible that we have to call Tulsi in and negotiate on your behalf.
During the visit, the minister put forward the option of regularization of a portion of the household and relocation of others.
I don't like the idea, see, with 3 houses on one lot. That will have to be rectified.
Correct.
And those persons most likely will have to be relocated, because we cannot regularize you with 3 houses on one lot, one plot of land. And I trust that you agree to that.
Correct.
So we'll have to find source land for those persons. For the homes that are initially here, then we have to come up with a different plan.
The minister committed to meeting with the squatters in 2 weeks' time. Decisions, including who would be relocated and who would remain, would be made. Lucianne Pierre, on behalf of the squatters, welcomed the move to address the problems.
I just want to take the opportunity on behalf of the residents behind here to thank you for coming, and we're looking forward for you to continue for the negotiation. And because we've been in this a long time, having a substantial minister from the Ministry of Housing to come here, and it never happened. God speak to you and you come yourself.
The 12 acres of land at Plantation and Great Diamond is owned by Interior Forest Industry Limited, Tulsi Resort Limited, via transport dated 1981. However, approximately 73 households or 284 persons have occupied the area for the past 37 years. The area is supplied with electricity and water. Community representatives and Tulsi Resort Limited officials recently met Minister Patterson as part of efforts to bring resolve to the long-standing issue. In the past, community representatives approached the CHNPA with regards to the regularization of the area. However, because the area is privately owned and occupiers face possible eviction, CHNPA did not proceed with the regularization process. For the Government News Brief, Gabriela Patra.
Carriacou Region 1 has received its land titling certificate. Details in this report.
Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Sidney Allicock, today handed over the land title document to Tushao Limbert Henry, granting the community of Carriacou absolute ownership for over 51,000 acres of land. Minister Allicock is urging community leaders to ensure proper management of their land.
It's about proper management. I hope your councillors now will be able to put things in place so that you have your health, education, and everything in place, economic development in place.
Carriacou is a small indigenous community in Region 1 and has a population of over 600 people. Its main economic activity is mining and small-scale farming. The community has been awaiting their certificate of land title since 2004. Tushao Henry says that this document will allow the community to push its development forward.
It's a joy within my heart seeing that we wait so long for our certificate of title, and today we have been successful receiving it from Minister Allicock. And I having my secretary and my treasurer here with me, which witness that we have received our document which we were waiting a long time for.
Under the Guyana Red Plus Investment Fund, GRIF, government in 2013 signed a US $10.7 million document for the implementation of the land titling and demarcation project. The project came to an end in 2016. However, the ministry requested an extension in 2017 budget. This resulted in a $165 million earmarked for the advancing of the remaining identified areas for land titling. In 2016, almost 1,000 square kilometers of land were demarcated in Regions 1, 7, and 8. Zenil Williams reporting for the Government News Brief.
Leg 1 residents are expected to benefit from sea and river defense works under the Caribbean Development Bank funded Sea and River Defense Project. More in this report. In April 2016, the CDB and the Government of Guyana launched a US $30.9 million Sea and River Defense project to provide for the reconstruction and improvement of sea and river defenses in Regions 2, 3, 4, and 6. District Engineer for Region 3, Sinarain Nandram says attention has been paid to critical areas in Leg 1.
Through the Sea and River Defense Resilience Project, we have a success, which is way down to the west, will be benefiting from 500 meters of riprap And Endeavour, going back to the east, would be benefiting from approximately 250 meters of riprap as well. And these are areas that were prone to overtopping and severe flooding during spring tides.
Nanjam explains that the works are needed since those areas in Leguan are easily flooded during heavy rainfall. The flooding, he explains, has negatively impacted the livelihood of residents. The Ministry of Public Infrastructure has been executing works in the island under the capital and maintenance funds to provide immediate relief, the district engineer added.
What we achieved on the island, though, was in excess of 820 meters. This would have been riprap works. We achieved about 400 meters of timber revetment, and maintenance work on the earthen embankments accounting for some approximately 800 meters as well.
Additionally, Nanjam says that even as the region awaits funding to execute the sea and river defense project, other capital projects will be undertaken in other areas this year.
Elizabethton is where we'd be doing riprap. Cane Garden, a particular flood site, a flood zone for some years. We'll be doing some work there again. And we'll be doing maintenance work to earthen embankments at Varwana to Phoenix and Elizabethton to Cane Garden again. Oakham, all these areas would be benefiting from maintenance.
The island has benefited recently from other infrastructural works, including several roads. Renetta LaFleur for the Government News Brief. This has been another edition of the Government News Brief. Thank you for watching. The details of these and other stories can be found on GENA's website. We encourage you to subscribe to our website and YouTube channel. You can also like and follow us on Facebook to be updated as the news unfolds. Remember to join again on Monday for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Have a great weekend.